So I got another quick video here. Just want to do a quick walk around. This is the little grow bed that I built a few weeks ago, and we put the plants in. These were some plants that we found at the garden store that were really cheap. I think we paid 99 cents for all the plants in here, not the vines, but the other little plants and flowers. A couple of them died, but these survived, so that's fine. The vines are doing well. You can see that they are, this is the flowers, and the vines are starting to walk up the cables there, so everything is looking really nice there. Everything has kind of gone wild here. We were on vacation for a couple of weeks, so everything kind of got out of hand. Well, I say out of hand, it just grew like wild. We got lots of rain. This is a it's considered like a cauliflower, but it's cauliflower like broccoli. You can see this is what it looks like on the inside. That's the best looking one. We're getting a little one, I think, forming inside here, but nothing much yet. These are purple cabbage, and so you can see how huge these things are. I mean, these things have gotten massive. The leaves, I mean, you can see the size of my hand here. It's a pretty dang big plant. So the figs, lots of figs are ripening. It has gotten fairly cold here already. We've been down under 4 degrees Celsius. We've removed a lot of the lettuces and things that were in here. The pumpkins, you can see there a pumpkin that is ripening. We have another one there, and we have quite a few that are hidden. We've got one huge one right there, still green, and I think there's another one like up here somewhere. Our tomatoes have exploded too. These were some that we had transplanted late, and then we got huge amounts of rain, so you can see that's what happens when you like basically overwater them. So I don't think these are going to ripen. You can see a lot of them just kind of exploded, just falling off there. There's still a few that may continue to ripen. You can see another little pumpkin in there, and some more purple cabbage. I don't think this is actually going to make any cabbage, but you can see the worms have gotten in there and just been eating, having a feast. It's going to make good compost no matter what. The chard, you can see here, has done really well. We've been harvesting the chard and eating it. It's very good, very sweet. And you can see this chard was planted at the same time as that one, and as these. And this is chard and kale. So these were put in direct compost that we had purchased. This is pretty much just straight compost. All of these were straight compost. Now this one, I'm not sure what happened with it, but they actually, took off and are doing really well. Now I don't know if there may be a little, yeah, you can see a little head forming down in there. I don't think this one has a head forming yet, but it might form one. But you can see some of them didn't do so well, some of them did well. The purple cabbage was planted at the same time as all the others, so you can see we've got lots of size difference. This one was also planted at the same time, but it ended up with aphids, and so the aphids kind of like, pretty much destroyed the growth of it. We had one here and it basically just died. Our raspberries took off. We still have some that are ripening, but they're not quite as good as they were early on. A little bit sour, even though they're pretty ripe. But we had large amounts of raspberries. These plants exploded, and we got really good production out of this one and this one. Basically two harvests, and you can see we're still getting some ripening. We cleaned out the lettuce beds. I put a sweet potato that had been sitting in our kitchen for a long time. I brought it out here and stuck it in the ground just so it would stay good. But you can see it's not going to do anything. It's probably I'm probably going to need to pull it up soon. These are just some weeds that popped up. Really cool looking plants. Not sure what they are, but they just came out of the compost. This was just some compost that was left over. So we'll be taking these raised beds apart and using this. This was basically compost. There was some other dirt mixed in here, but we're going to take that and use it to terrace. We're going to add some more terracing. Most everything is going to be in the ground at some point. We did this because it was quick. Even all the buckets, the containers there, we'll eliminate those, and all this whole area will end up in-ground garden at some point. Another purple cabbage that has had something eating on it. This was our yellow raspberry. There's a couple of new ones. This is definitely a plant that should form 2 harvests. So it was a small one. We bought it this year, so next year would be really good. You can see here we have a runner, a raspberry runner. So if you're planning on planting raspberries, they will spread out very far. So you can see that's our main base there. We got one that just popped up out of nowhere right here, and another one that popped up out of nowhere right there. And I'm not sure which one they're coming from, but I believe it's the big one. These are our tomato vines. We cut a lot of the vine off. These things were massive. We had to cut them down because a lot of the fruit here is probably not going to ripen. So we just cut it off so it'd stop growing and maybe put all the energy into tomatoes. Oh, that one just fell off by itself, but this is like a ripe tomato. It doesn't look ripe, but it is. We've got lots of cherry tomatoes that we probably need to come out here and harvest. You can see here, this is more, it has been raining lots here in the past month and a half, so lots of the fruit has basically been overwatered, so all this stuff is kind of exploding. But yeah, this is our onions, and I believe these are leeks. I believe that's what they are. We actually got a couple more peppers. I'm not sure if they will ripen up, but they're edible, just as green ones. We harvested our beets. We got about 4 or 5 beets, and these are still in the ground. We'll see how they do. Maybe we'll harvest them at some point. This was one bean plant that actually sprouted, but we were gone when the beans were ready, so we just kind of left them in place here. You can see there, I think they're a bush bean. This is arugula, has kind of gone crazy. We've been harvesting a little bit off that and adding it to our salad. This was the transplant raspberry. It was a little tiny raspberry plant that I pulled out when I was building the beds, and it took off in like the last month or so. It was only about 2 inches tall or 3 inches tall for months, and then we get back from vacation and it was like, you know, over a foot tall, and it's already gone another foot. Blueberries are pretty much done losing all their leaves. You can see here that's the raspberries that we still have to pluck, but you can see the plant is already suffering from cold weather. This is our herb garden. It looks really good. The plants really like this. I did soil and compost mix, and that's what really did it. Like things that were just growing in compost alone, the compost was probably just too rich, and so the plants were suffering. This was like red clay, soil, and compost, and everything it just went gangbusters. You can see here these were pepper plants that we transplanted late in the season, and they kind of just took off a little late for them to actually fruit. We've got lots of mint and the rosemary and sage. We got some parsley. So everything really did good back here. And then we got all our strawberries transplanted. And I transplanted a tomato plant in here that was just a cutting from one of the other plants. So it produced a few tomatoes, but not many actually got ripe. That one was pretty good. Moved our fish to the neighbor's pond because they had just gotten too big, and now they're really big. I'll do a quick video. Maybe I'll add them to this video. I'll just need to get some food and take it over there and then shoot a little bit. Apple trees, dropped lots of apples. Maybe you can see there that there's a lot of apples on the ground. Those are probably no good. But there's lots of red ones still in the tree. Same thing on the neighbor's tree. This is what the backyard is looking like at the moment. We had to halt on the landscaping for the company. They had a bunch of guys on vacation. Then we went on vacation, and now they're just planning to come back in a week or so and start smoothing out, terracing, and kind of making it look like it's supposed to look. But this you can see here, it's been so long and so wet that weeds and grass and all kinds of stuff are growing up in the red clay. Let's go take a look at the fish. Here are all the apples that have been falling. I've cleaned up, I don't know, hundreds of apples. Had to rake them up, shovel them up, and this is just what has fallen. And you see if we can see them from under here. There's quite a few still in the tree. They're just way up top. So what I'm trying to do is, and I'll probably do this again today, is come out here and clean up all the ones that have fallen. And then I know that when they fall, I can just pick them up as soon as, if I can get them up before the bugs get to them, then they're usually still they're really, really good to eat. You can see the leaves are starting to fall off the tree. Here's a good one. Yeah, see that one just fell. No, there's a bug entrance there maybe. I don't know if that's bug entrance, but it's a good apple. Not something you would see in the grocery store because it's got discolorations and that kind of stuff, but man, these things are super sweet, really crunchy. And this tree is probably, I don't know, 70 years old or something like that. Mine is also a very old tree. You can just tell by the way they grow. So we'll head over here to the pond. You can see here's another apple tree. Still lots of apples in the tree. Lots of them on the ground. So let's check out the fish here. They're going to come running when they see me. Throw them a little food out there. So yeah, those things are probably, I think they're well over a foot long now. So they have definitely grown. They'd just gotten so big in the other pond that they were not growing very much. They do limit their own size by the tank. And once we put them in here, they like almost doubled in size in just a few weeks. So they are much happier in here. We'll probably harvest a few of them. You know, in a month or so, we'll probably eat a few of them and then let the others get a little bigger. But they are looking really nice. Hopefully I'll be able to get something from in the water. I may have to put on some water boots to get down in there because they're a little harder to get in there. So yeah, looking real nice. All right, so that wraps up the little walk around. Hopefully within the next few days we'll have some more to report on the landscaping, and maybe make a little progress on the terracing here. I still have looks like about 18 more plant rings, so I'll probably do a layer probably 2 or 3 feet out, coming to the corner here and going over to the neighbor's property there, and then backfill that with all this compost and possibly even some of the soil that we have in the back. And then we'll probably start cleaning out all the plants. Anything that's kind of old and dying, we'll go ahead and cut those back and get all that stuff into the compost and start making preparations for next year. So this year was, I would say, was a success in many ways, and we learned a lot about which soils are good and which aren't, and where we need to plant things. Definitely looks like the plant rings, we did a good job of mixing the soil for stuff like broccoli, cauliflower, chard, those kind of things. So we probably will put those in here next year. But this, we're gonna have to build another compost bin just to hold all this greenery. So next year's garden should produce hopefully twice as much or 3 times as much as we got this year. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have another video real soon.